So, all right, guys. In this video, we are going to see what is an AI agent. So, for example, imagine you wake up in the morning and ask your phone, will it rain today? And instead of just showing temperature, checks weather, looks at your calendar, and sees you have a cricket match planned today, and then says, yes, it may rain at 4 p.m. and you should carry an umbrella or reschedule your match. So now that is not just an app, that is an AI agent. Today in this video, I'll explain what an AI agent is using a simple weather application example in the easiest way possible. So an AI agent or weather app, uh, in that you can say, should I go for a bike ride today? So what it will do, it will first check weather forecast, wind speed, rain chances, your schedule, and then it will answer. Like for example, yes, morning is perfect. Avoid evening. Heavy rain expected. Something like this. So the system understands your goal, and then after it collects the data, thinks, and then it makes a decision. And then what it will do, it will suggest an action. So this is an AI agent. Sorry. So what exactly is an AI agent? In simple words, if I would say, an AI agent is a smart system that can observe, think, decide and act to achieve a goal, right? So if I'll go to images and let's take this example. You see this, this is environment and this is the agent, my AI agent. It will take the action, and what it will do, based on the observation and past experiences, uh, what is this? This is abilities, goal preferences and prior knowledge. So all these things are feed to the agent, and then it will take the action, and it will create an environment based on the observation and past experiences. So let's take another example. I don't think so that is a very good example. So I can also describe like this. For example, let's open this. In layman term, what is an AI agent? So I'll create boxes. So first one, select, Control C, Control V. First one is user, then my AI agent, and third will be my tool, which is my weather application. Thanks. Take action, and then it will respond. So how it is going? It is going like this. First user will give the input. Sorry, let me make it more clear. First user will give the query. AI agent will take that query. If the query matches with the present or available tools, the query should move towards this tool, which is my AI agent. Based on the tool, it will think, and this is my LLM where it thinks. The thinking part is integrated with the LLM, or we also call it as brain. It will take action and then it will respond back to the user. So this is how my AI agent will work. This is the basic structure. So why we need AI agent? First of all, we will see through a basic example in the Visual Studio. I'll demonstrate why we need an AI agent and what is the limitations with normal conversation with the LLM. How much information it has. Based on that, we will create the agent. So let's see what are the limitations first. From OpenAI, I will import the OpenAI and then from env, I will load the env. Import load dot env and then load env and I'll import the requests. For now, it request is not needed. Just what I'm doing here is basic user and LLM question and answer session. So I'll create one main function. That main function, user will ask question, user query. I'll take the input, enter your query. Enter your query. And what I will do next, I'll create the, first of all, I need to create a client of OpenAI. And then I'll need to create a chat session. So client dot chat dot completions and dot create. So it will create a chat session. So in this chat session, I need to call a model, set a model. So for now, I'm calling GPT-4o. Then what I'll do, I'll pass my message. So messages is equals to who is passing a message? User is passing a message. So my role will be user. And what is my content? User query is my content. So this is how you pass a message to an LLM model. So basically this is the structure. In throughout AI course, we'll see a lot of time that mm, this is where we call our model and then set our messages. This is very basic example. Later on we will discuss what we can do with this kind of chat or user query operations. So once it is done giving the query, I need to print. So response. Here I need to collect the response. Response is equals to response dot choices dot message content. Now I need to call this main function. So if let's run this. So enter your query. What is the weather in Goa? So it says I'm unable to provide real-time weather updates or forecasts to get the current weather conditions in Goa. So here I'm not able to get the data about what is the weather in Goa. So LLM does not have that kind of, I can say, uh, data to give me the response. So what I will do, I will create an application that will fetch the weather uh, conditions in several cities in India. And then what it will do, it will feed that data to the LLM, and then LLM will give the answer based on the user query. So here you can see this is the limitation of LLM. So to overcome this limitation or situation, we use AI agents. So let's create another weather agent that is basically capable of giving me the right answers based on my query. So in this weather agent, what I will do, I will first load the env, same as the previous one. So env is your basically .env API key. So from which you are, I can say, using your LLM to give the response, right? So in this weather agent, we will also discuss what is a chain of thought. Chain of thought means whenever you type something in chat GPT, for example, uh, write a code in Python to, let's say, find duplicate nodes, or I can say a cyclic node in linked list. So what it will do, it will give you the answer, and then you will ask some more questions based on the your previous question or the response of the LLM. So LLM is using their previous messages history to give you the response, right? So that is chain of thought. So I'll start from here, same from .env, import load .env, and then load .env file. So it will load that environment variable, environment.env file in which my API key is written, and then I need to create an OpenAI client. So so to do that, I need to import OpenAI. OpenAI import OpenAI, and I also need to provide the structured query to the LLM. So to do that, I need to import JSON. So my structure is basically a JSON format. And since I am making an HTTP call to a website, so from there only we will get the, I can say, data about what is the weather. So there is this website known as wttr.in/Goa. So in the same format, we will call this website using HTTP client, and then it will fetch the data from this website and provide this data to LLM. So based on this data, uh, LLM will respond back to the user with its I can say, uh, it it will say that temperature in Goa is 24 degrees Celsius, something like that. It should respond. So this process is itself known as uh, agent query tool, or we can say agent, and then agent will feed the data to the LLM, and then in the last we will get the response by feeding the data from the agent to the LLM. So JSON is done. Import request, since I'm making HTTP request. Import async IO. So why I'm using async IO? Once I'll call the website for this link. So it may not suddenly respond. It can take some time. So till it gets the data, we have to wait, right? To get the temperature of Goa, what is the wind speed, something like that. We have to wait. Immediately website will not load and then give me the data, right? We import HTTP, and I also need Pydantic. Pydantic means uh, basically I'll create a class in which I'll pass client, content, tool, planning in a structured way, right? So what I will do from this class, I'll pass this class to LLM. So based on this class, LLM will understand that I have to give response based on this format only. So Pydantic is the best way to do this. So that is why I am importing. We will see further in this video. Importing base model, then field. Field is nothing but once we create a class, Pydantic class, let's say my output. So some fields are optional. For example, uh, content or planning. So these field are basically these structure are basically comes under field. So that is why I am importing field. So next I need typing, and of course in your machine you have to do pip install for everything. Import optional. So fields are basically it can contain some data or it can be none also. So if it is none, it should not return any, it should not throw any value like key error or something like that. So if it is assigned as optional, so it may contain some data or it may not contain some data. So this is it. This is the library. So first of all, what I need to do, I need to create a OpenAI client. OpenAI client. So you can also pass key API key here also and model itself. But since I'm using env file, and this is the best practice if you are doing any project. So to avoid the repetitive work, we used to this is a we used to load this environment variable, right? Env file basically not variable. Sorry, I'll keep blank as of now, and I need to create a coroutine function. So create a coroutine function, how it starts? It starts with async definition get weather. And what it will take as a parameter, it will take city as a parameter, and the type will be string, and I'll pass the URL. And since it is a formatted string, I need to pass the city as a parameter. City dot lower to avoid type case sensitivity. Then format equals to ampersand C and ampersand T. Timeout will be if website does not respond within this time. we have to raise the error, right? HTTP dot client timeout, total will be 30 seconds. Now async with AIO dot client session timeout will be my timeout. Timeout will be basically 30 seconds. So I'm passing the variable here itself as session. Now what I have to do, I have to get the response. So asynchronous with session and get the URL as the response. Basically response is coming from where? From the URL itself. So if the status code is 200, then we can say that I have got the response, and text will be await and await.text. Sorry, not await.text, await response.text. Await response. Await response.text. Return the formatted string whether in city is this degree Celsius. Else we can say return failed to call the API. Right now, so this is my one tool, right? This is my tool. So I need to collect this tool somewhere. So agent will understand that I have one tool, two tool, three tool, four tool, five tool, 10 tool. So I need to maintain a list of available tools. Available tools is equals to available tools is equals to get weather. So get weather is equals to get. So this is a reference. This is not a function call, right? So if I have to do the function call in coroutine function, we do not just have to call this function and it will give the response. We have to do something like asyncio dot run, and then we have to pass this function name. So you see this, I'm not calling any function. I'm just passing the reference of this function. So what comes next? I will create a system prompt, basically a set of rules. So after creating this available tools, why I cannot take the user input? I can also take the user input, and since I am uh, also be using chain of thought, and once user passes its query, it will append to a list. So list has a method of dot append. So once user passes a query, that query should be appended into a list so that when LLM calls or chat continues after the first text, second text, or third text, LLM should understand that uh, this is not a new chat conversation. This is the similar one. So this will use the so it will use the previous data also to give me a better answer. So since I'm maintaining a list of chat history, it may give me it may give me accurate answers. So message history dot so message history is basically is message history a list, message history is a list, right? So in message history, before passing the message history, why not to take a user query input? So user query input, enter your query. So here take few moments and understand what will be my message history. So my message history will be a role, right? Role is what? User. User is giving me user query only, right? User role will be user, and what will be the content? Content will be my user query. Since user is passing the query, role is user, and whatever user is passing into this user query variable, that will be my content. I think you may be able to correlate query, right? No typos, no errors. Okay. Now I have to provide the system prompt. So system prompt is nothing, just a set of rules for the LLM. So I can say in user query system prompt. So basically this should come in. It doesn't matter, guys. You can do here also. You can take user query here also. Here also. So system prompt will be URN AI assistant in resolving user query with user query only. You work on steps such as first one is start, plan, and then output. So what LLM will do, it will first start and then it will plan. For example, if I ask an LLM to give me information about weather in Goa, so it will go into planning step. It will check if any available tools are there or not. If it is there, it will go to that uh, function. It will basically call that function. It will fetch the data, feed that data into LLM. Basically, LLM will fetch that data and then give me the output. This is the basic structure. Now you need to first plan what needs to be done, right? And then the can plan may have multiple steps. Once you think enough, plan has uh, once you think enough, planning is completed. Planning is completed. Planning is completed, and finally you can give an output. Right. And what else? We have tools, right? Tool is basically our agent. So I have to tell LLM that you have to call the agent, the available tools, right? If you don't know the answer of the question asked by the user. So you can also call a tool required from the list of available tools, right? For every tool call, let's say wait for the observe step, which is the output from the called tool, right? Now I'll set the rules. Strictly follow the given JSON format. Only run one step at a time. The sequence of steps is start it should be start where user gives an input. And what else? From user gives an input. Plan. Another is plan. Planning is what? Multiple steps. And then output format equals to dot JSON format, right? And what else we can do? The step should involve start, plan, output, tool call, content, these kind of things. So how we can write is a user query, user prompt. So basically system prompt, not user prompt. This is I am doing hard coding here, setting the rules. So this is system prompt. So JSON format, steps. What else I can do? First step should be start or and output. Obviously, mm, we have content. Content we have as a string. We have tool as a string, and input is also as a string. Now I have to set what available tools I have. I have get weather, right? And now I have to create an example. Example. So my question would be, uh, first will we start. What is the weather of Goa? So answer would be planning. I can say plan, plan, then so my OCD is hitting hard here. So what is the weather in Goa? Planning would be step. Uh, step would be my plan, and content would be uh, seems like user is asking question about weather. Content would be let me check if I have any available tools to answer this query. And then another plan would be content. Great, we have the weather tool to answer this query. Let's take one more another step, and then this will be my tool step. So tool will be step step will be tool, and then I can say get weather input, and then Delhi, not Delhi, let's take Goa only. Last step would be observe, and then tool will be get weather. Get weather, output will be the temperature in Goa is plus 24 degrees Celsius with cloudy weather. So this is the instruction, right? And then output step will be output, and then content will be the current weather in Delhi is, I'm sorry, not Delhi, Goa is 4 Celsius with some cloudy sky. So something like that, my response should be, should look like. So this is my user prompt basically, system prompt, not user prompt. This is the user prompt. Now what I have to do, as I have said, I need to pass this kind of information in a structured format. So to pass this kind of information, for example, step, content, tool, input in a structured format, I need base model. So base model, from where it comes from Pydantic. So I need a class of that. So class my output format base model. Mm, Step is one field. Step is string of type of string. Then field would be description the ID of the tool, the ID of, sorry, the ID of the step. What the ID could be? For example, plan is one ID, output is one ID, and then tool is also one ID. Example, plan, port, tool, etc. Let's give it in a single line. Does not mix any confusion. Next, I have content. Content is optional. If it is there, it's okay. It's not there, no worries. Assign the data type, string, and then field, description. Would be the optional string for the content. The optional string, as the name itself defines, it's optional. So the description would be the optional string for the content. And then tool. Tool is also optional, and then tool is of type string, and then field would be the field. The description would be should be no. It's optional, right? It is also optional. And then for tool, we can say the ID of the tool to call. And we have input. Input is also optional. I am taking it as optional. If you are coding this weather agent, it's totally depends upon you. None. Description. The input parameters for the tool. Right. So this is my class. And what I else need to do? What else I need to do? Here. So basically, when I am appending the history, it should be at the end of the basic, like at the end of the present context, right? So it's my thinking. It's totally depend upon you whether you want to append message history in the above of this, at the top of this function, or at the like bottom of this function. It's totally depend upon you. Now I need to create a response. To create a response, I need to call GPT model. So how we have called the GPT model here using this response client.chat.completions.create. But here I'll not use create since I'm parsing set of rules. I'll use the parse, right? So how we can do it? I'll say while true, I will explain why I am using while true. Since I'm using message history, so how I will append the message history. So if the context is if the chat is still going on, so how it will go, how it will, how user will use the same uh, present chat uh, to give its to get the answer of his query if the chat is alive. So how I will make it alive? Using while true, using the infinite loop. So that is why response client dot chat dot completions dot parse client dot chat dot completions dot parse. That's right. Model here I am using is, and here we have to be some we have to use some specific models since I'm using parse, and not every model can use the can give me answer in structured format. So there is this model known as ChatGPT 4o hyphen mini. So this is capable of uh, reading the structured format and then giving me the response. So response is equal response format would be my, since I'm using this parse, I need to call this class, which is my output format, which is my output format. So here also I'm passing the reference, not calling the class itself. Even if I have to call the class, I need to create an object. So I'm not creating an object. So I take reference from that. I'm not creating the, I'm not calling the I'm not calling the class. I'm just taking the reference of it. Messages is equals to messages dot messages underscore history. This one, message history. Once I get the response, store it in a variable, which is the raw result variable. And what I will do, how I will store the response, what I like how we have done here, how I have printed response dot choices. I have passed 0 message dot content. So what I will do, I'll copy from here itself. And just paste it. So I get the raw result, and then messages message underscore history. Since I'm using chain of thought, I need to store the response of the LLM in my list. So message.history.append append history dot append, and what will be the what will be the role, what will be the role here? I am not asking question. Will it be user or will it be assistant? Since AI is giving me response, role will be assistant, right? And then content, my content would be, what would be my content? My content would be raw result. Since response is coming into this variable using response.choices, we have to pass it as a content, and the role is assistant. Now what is my parsed result? So response choices dot message parse. So this is my parsed result. What does it means? How it is different from raw result? If you will see, I have passed my response format as my message format. And what I have inside, I have step, content, tool, and input. So I need these steps, content, tool, and input, right? While I can say for making the comparison, if LLM response content contains step, if it contains content, if it contains tool, so we need to do some if else ladder, right? So that is why I am here using parsed result. So if I say, for example, parse result dot, you see we have content, we have input, what else we have? We have step, we have tool. But on the same case, if I say raw result dot, we do not have anything, right? We do not have anything. So raw result does not contains anything. Since I'm using dot parsed, which is only using content, I'm here using parse, and this is also parse. So once it correlates with this response variable, or we can say client.chat.completion method, and I am also passing response format as my Pydantic structured class as a reference. So it is able to now take these steps, like these variables, which is steps, contents, tools, and input. So what is a step? So the step says the ID of the step, example, plan, output, tool. So I can say my raw result dot step equals to what is your plan. Okay. So and if it is there, what I can say, print the raw result, something like that. I can do it, right? That is why I have used this pydantic structure, and then this parsed, and here also parse, and this is the reference of my pydantic class, and this is my message history. Why I am using assistant as a role? Because LLM gave me the response, right? And the content is my raw result. What is this raw result? This is the raw result of the LLM output. So let's move ahead. I can say if parsed result dot step equal to tool, then I can say if it is a tool, then I will check which tool I need to call. What is the user query? Tool to call is equals to parsed underscore result dot tool. See this, we have tool, the ID of the tool to call, right? So if tool to call equals to get weather, so could be having one question why I'm passing it as a string. So the tool to call contains past result dot tool. Past result dot tool, if you will see, it is optional, but it is also having a data type which is string, right? So that is why I am using get weather, and I am passing it inside a double quotes. So if tool to call is equals to get weather, then I can say tool underscore input which equals to past result dot input. What is input? The input parameters for the tool, right? Since we have a tool called get weather, so I need, and it is a dictionary. If we will see, I need to fetch this where it is available tools. Yeah, so this is a dictionary. I need to uh, call this get weather using this key. This is the value which is pointing towards this coroutine function. So once I'll go to this key value, this will reference to this coroutine function and give me the response. So tool input is equals to past result dot input. Now let's say tool function equals to, and what is the function name? Available tools. Not function name, list name, and then get weather. Since I'm inside get weather, obviously I need to pass the tool to call. Tool to call, I or basically I am not doing hard coding here. I'll just pass this tool to call, right? And then tool response would be since it's a coroutine function, I need to call async io dot run, right? And tool underscore function, and then tool input, right? I'm basically passing get weather tool fn and then tool input, right? What I've done here is passed result step. If the step is tool to call will be my past result tool, which is get weather. So if it is get weather, tool input will be past result input. Okay, input my user query. And then tool function will be available tools. Tool to call is this one, get weather. And then since it's a coroutine function, we cannot directly call it. As I have shown earlier in this video itself, we need to call async io.run. And then tool function would be tool input. I also need to add this into user message history. Message history list. Message history is this message history. Message history dot append, and I will say what is the role. Role is, what is this? It should be assistant, right? assistant content would be json.dump dump json.dump, and then my step would be observe, and then tool. What is tool? Tool to call, right? Tool to call. And what else? What else I need? Input will be tool input. And then output would be tool response. So this is basically how my message history should look like. Role should be assistant, content should be JSON dump, means I'm creating a JSON. In that, I have a step called observe. Tool is tool to call, which tool I am calling. Input will be tool input. Basically, if I am asking what is the weather in Goa, so that input will be Goa itself. What is the input? What is the temperature in Goa? So like that, it will be input, and then the output. I think what will be the output. So if tool to call, I think it's not needed. What else? What else? It's done only. Few things are remaining. First, let's check if there is any syntax issue or it is running perfectly. Line 57. What is it? Don't need to give this curly braces since this is a formatted string. Yes. Okay. Now what I have to do, parsed result is equals to tool. So since this is a while loop, and after certain time window frame, I need to break this while loop since our query is fulfilled. So how I will do it? If parsed dot result, if parsed underscore result dot step is equals to planning, then what I will say, print. I would say brainstorming, brainstorming. Parsed result dot content, parsed result only, right? Yes. Then continue else if parsed result gave me output. Since I have already got the output, I'll come out the while loop and close the chat. Wait, break, then print. Step content. Let's see if it works. I need some debugging. Is there any issue? Yes, I can see one issue. Available tools. Mm, Discrete weather. Description of the step example, plan, output, tool, etc. Content is optional. String field is equals to none, and then description is this. None, description, none, description. This is okay. Registry, user query. Okay. Message history would be think some problem is here only. Message history would be enter your query, user, and then user query. Content would be system prompt. Message history role. Yes. Here I am passing the system prompt. So system, and this will be my system prompt itself, not the user query. System prompt role is system, content will be system prompt. Here I need to pass uh, registry.append, I guess. So what I will do, uh, once user has asked me the question, I'll append that question into message history itself. Let's check. Typo. Dot append. dot append role as user, and then content will be user query itself. Yes. Now this is correct. User query. So here basically I am appending the system prompt itself, and then by giving the context, I am asking the question from the LLM. So now response is equals to client.chat.completion.parse GPT-4o mini format my output message history raw result response.choice 0 message.content. Let's wrap it as a tuple, packing it as a tuple. Basically, so message history dot append role will be assistant and content will be raw result. This is okay. Okay, this is basically tool I need to start also, right? So if first result dot step is equals to start, then I can say print starting the LLM. Starting the LLM, and then I can say continue, continue. So parse result dot step is equals to tool, and tool to call is parse result dot tool. Till here it's okay. If tool to call is get weather, then tool input is equals to parse input, parse result dot input. It's okay here. Then tool function is equals to available tools, then tool to call. Okay here. Then tool response would be async io.run tool fn tool input. What I'm doing message history, I'm appending role assist role as assistant, content as a JSON dump, basically creating a JSON, and then step would be observe, tool is tool to call, tool input, tool response. If parse result dot step is equals to plan. Now let's check. Brainstorming, user is asking for the current weather in Goa. Let me check if I have any available tools to answer this question. Great, we have weather tool available to answer this query. The current weather in Goa is 23 degrees Celsius. So this is basically our agent. So if we see what I have done, I have given the user input. It the user input went to AI agent, and then it calls the API, the weather API, and it gets the data, it fetches the data, then it gave it to LLM. LLM think the brainstorming part, it took the action, and then at last it gave me the response. Right. So this is basically what I'm doing right here. Okay. And if I run this tool just for the sake, I'll run this again. I'll ask the same question. Enter your query. It is saying I'll copy here, paste it here, enter. So yeah, it says I am sorry, but I cannot provide a real-time weather updates. I recommend checking a reliable weather, blah 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 blah. Okay, so the main goal is why we designed our AI agent to give me the output based on the user query by integrating a tool that we call it as an AI agent. That's it. So it took quite a lot to code, but I think if you will watch it, rewatch it, it's worth it. This is not a basic function, it's a coroutine function. I'll explain it once more. What I've done here is I've loaded all the necessary libraries, which is first one is environment key, which is my API key. I have imported the OpenAI. Why I have imported the OpenAI? If you will go here in the code, you will see I am using GPT-4o model mini, right? So from where it comes from the OpenAI. This is the tool, also known as AI agent. Available tool is this get weather. This is my system prompt. Basically, from where I have uh, set the rules for the LLM. This is my pydantic structure. So the LLM basically knows I have to give the answer in this format only. And then I am asking the question, right? Sorry, it is basically appending the system prompt into message history so that if I press this uh, Python script, the system prompt is already fed into the LLM so that it knows the context. So I'll ask the query, I'll feed this query into message history. While row means infinite loop to maintain the chain of thought. Chain of thought is basically what I told earlier in this video. If I am chatting with the OpenAI, if I ask 2, 3 questions, and the third question um, is basically interrelated to the first question, then LLM will think that, oh, this is the first question. I can use I can use the response of the first question to give the response of this third question. That is chain of thought. This is our result. Since I'm using past, I'm using past result as a variable. I'm calling this start. I'm comparing it with the start, which is a starting. Well and good, great. Start the LLM. If the parse result dot step is tool, call the tool. If the tool is get weather, call the tool. Append all the things, which is, for example, that is first is observed. What tool you have called? What was the input? What was the output? All those things. Parse result dot step is planning. If it is plan, brainstorm. If it's the output, well and good. Well and good. Since we are running the while true, we got the opportunity to break the loop, right? That's it. Thank you very much for checking out on this video. Have a good day.